Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about our monetary system and go through a little bit of a history lesson. So to get started, you'll see this is a part of the U.S. Constitution, Section 10, Article 1, that says states are prohibited from the exercise of certain powers. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin. So, what happened at the end of the Revolutionary War? Our founding fathers looked back at Europe and they saw how corrupt the banking system was because of the Rothschild family over in Europe. And they wanted us to stay away from paper money, so they put in the Constitution, as we just read, that our money was to be gold and silver coins. Now, back up here when it talks about bills of credit. When you have paper money, that's your bills of credit. And what I mean by that, currently, modern day, prior to the Federal Reserve, which by the way is a private corporation, prints the currency, the paper currency, the United States Treasury holds a bond auction. And they auction the bonds, they raise the capital, they then call the Federal Reserve and tell them to print the money. So our paper money system, or our bills of credit system, is a debt-based monetary system rather than an asset-based monetary system. Daniel Webster, the founder of the dictionary, said, and I'm paraphrasing here, nothing deludes mankind more than paper money. So throughout history, throughout all of time, principles never change. The sun always rises in the east and it sets in the west. And with paper money, it always moves towards being devalued or becoming worthless. Now, the Constitution has defined, they have a definition for the dollar, and we're here on the Ludwig von Mises Institute website. I just copy and pasted this. So you will see here that a constitutional dollar. You are aware that the Federal Reserve dollar bill is not a constitutional dollar. Perhaps you are, but if so, do you know what a constitutional dollar literally is? Is it gold? Is it silver? Is it both? It is actually meant to be a metal standard. Can the United States or any other country be on two standards at the same time? Can two metals circulate as coin if there is but one standard? Or does one metal have to drive the other out of circulation? How and why does Gresham's law work when a country uses metal coin for money? In what ways are certain statements of Gresham's law misleading? Sooner or later, if and when the power of the Federal Reserve over money is revoked in a constitutional manner, and if and when the constitutional coin comes back into use, these questions need to be asked, answered, and understood. But that is what this article does in a compact fashion. In this meticulously researched 2-volume work, Pieces of Eight, constitutional lawyer Edwin Vieira, and by the way, if you remember that show years ago, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Meredith Vieira, that is Edwin and Meredith are brother and sister. Edwin Vieira shows beyond any doubt that the constitutional dollar in the United States is a historically determined fixed weight of fine silver. The Coinage Act of 1792 is but one source among many that makes this evident reading. The money of account of the United States shall be expressed in dollars or units, of mass or weight, of a Spanish mill dollar as same as now current, and to contain 371 grains and 4/16 part of pure silver. So right there, the Coinage Act of 1792 defines a dollar as 371 grains of pure silver. So clearly it is not the dollar that we know today. So let's keep reading. The United States has a legal and constitutional silver standard, although we don't know it today, since the government has illegally and unconstitutionally removed silver as currency and replaced it with the Federal Reserve notes that we know as dollar bills. The term dollar bills obscures the actual and tangible meaning of dollar as a specific weight of silver. The United States has historically minted gold coins as well as silver coins, as the Constitution instructed. It regulated their value, the weight of gold they contained, in order to bring the meaning of a gold dollar into conformity with the silver standard coin, which again contains 371.25 grains of pure silver. This too was constitutionally mandated. The government did the same for foreign coins up to 1857. Okay, so you can see here the Coinage Act of 1792, and we had the first United States silver dollar that was minted in 1793. Next was the next silver dollar. Its style, let's just say, changed in 1822. A beautiful coin in my opinion. Then we have the seated Liberty here, and you'll see that it changed its format in 1850. Probably the most popular of all silver dollars ever made was the Morgan silver dollar, and they minted more of these silver coins than just about any other in history. There are some of these Morgan silver dollars that were minted in Carson City that are highly collectible. Okay, this is the Peace dollar. You can see it's a 1921 Peace dollar, and I think they continue minting those through 1934 if I'm not mistaken. So the banksters were able to sink their claws back into Congress and to get them to reintroduce paper money. So initially, when our paper money was rolled out, you'll see here at the top, it clearly says silver certificate. It does not say Federal Reserve note like we have today. And let's read the detail here. It says, this certifies that there has been deposited in the Treasury of the United States of America, then down here at the bottom, $1 silver payable to the bearer on demand. So what happened is, used to this was a receipt. This paper money was a receipt in which you could take it to the bank and give it to them, and they would give you $1 silver. Certainly if you take a $1 bill to any bank today, they're not going to give you anything but quarters, dimes, and nickels. There's not going to be any silver that's going to be given back to you in exchange. Here is a $5 bill, a $5 silver certificate. We read at the top here, it says, this certifies that there have been deposited in the Treasury of, and then the circular motion here, the United States of America, $5 silver payable to the bearer on demand. And you can see here it says silver certificate. So obviously our monetary system has gone through some vast changes very subtly over time, to where we, the people, have been separated from real money, constitutional money, and what we are left with is currency. It's not money, it's currency that we are now using, and our purchasing power is being robbed from us minute by minute. Alright, so here is a gold certificate. You can see down at the bottom that it was minted in 1928, and by looking here at the top of this, it says, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to enlarge this print for you a little bit just so you can see it. This certifies that there has been deposited in the Treasury of the United States of America $20 in gold coin payable to the bearer on demand. So used to, the price of gold was $20.67. Again, this was a certificate. You can see here it says gold certificate that an individual could take to any local community bank, give it to them, and they would give you $20 gold coin. You'll see here the word gold again on both ends of the bill. Clearly, our monetary system has changed. We've gone from being able to exchange a $20 bill for a $1 for a gold coin to now it takes, based upon the current price of gold, let's just say $1,250, it now takes over 60 of these. So the purchasing power of the US dollar has been devalued either by a multiple of 60 or by 6,000%. Alright, incredible, huh? Okay, so right here at the bottom of this coin you'll see the same mint mark, 1928, is what was on the prior $20 gold certificate right there, 1928. Pretty amazing, huh? Alright, so moving along here. What ended up happening in the depths of the Depression, there were bank runs, and people were taking their $20 certificates and trading them in and getting $20 in gold coin. And it was because the people were afraid of the banking system. Believe it or not, over 9,000 banks closed their doors during that era. Then FDR was elected in November 1932. He was sworn in January. Then on April 5th, 1933, under executive order of the President, all persons are required to deliver on or before May 1st, 1933, all gold coin, gold bullion, and gold certificates now owned by them to a Federal Reserve Bank, branch or agency, or to any member bank of the Federal Reserve System. Okay, so the criminal penalties for violation of the executive order was a $10,000 fine or 10 years imprisonment or both. To put in perspective, that $10,000 fine right now in today's dollars was $625,000. As you can imagine, much like today, nobody back in 1933 had $625,000 sitting around to pay as a fine in the event that they did not comply with this executive order. So, like I said, FDR took us off the gold standard. Now, our international trading partners, the foreigners that we traded with, they could still turn in their treasury bonds or their US dollars and redeem them in gold. And that happened, and that continued to stay that way all the way until 1971, in which Richard Nixon, August 15, 1971, quote unquote, closed the gold window. And here is a video of him announcing that very thing.
I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States. In full cooperation with the International Monetary Fund and those who trade with us, we will press for the necessary reforms to set up an urgently needed new international monetary system. Stability and equal treatment is in everybody's best interest. I am determined that the American dollar must never again be a hostage in the hands of international speculators. I'm taking one further step to protect the dollar, to improve our balance of payments, and to increase jobs for Americans. As a temporary measure, I am today imposing an additional tax of 10% on goods imported into the United States. This is a better solution for international trade than direct controls on the amount of imports.
Okay, so Nixon said that it was the international speculators that had caused the run on the dollar, when in fact that was not the case. The speculators are always blamed. What happened, if you recall, is the Johnson administration had what was referred to as guns and butter, where it was the war on poverty and of course the Vietnam War. During that era, they did not raise taxes to fund the war on poverty, and they did not raise taxes to fund the Vietnam War. Think about what we have going today. And of course, so what was happening is the Federal Reserve was simply creating money out of thin air, which is what we're experiencing today. So again, it was not the international speculators. The foreign countries realized that this money creation was taking place, and it was at that point they said, hey, we don't want any more of your paper dollars, we want to change them in for real money, that being gold. So it was the devaluation that was taking place. So right here, believe it or not, down here at the bottom you'll see this was produced in 2012 by the St. Louis Federal Reserve, and up here at the top, purchasing power of the consumer dollar. The source of these statistics was provided by the U.S. Department of Labor and the Bureau of Statistics. So here in 1910, the bottom of the chart, Federal Reserve was founded in 1913. At that time, a dollar was a dollar, in which you can see the dollar went down by 50%, or it was only worth 50 cents of what it was just a few years prior. The reason for this was because of World War I. That's when we came off the gold standard, or that's when the governments really started devaluing currencies. At one time, like I showed you earlier, that $20 bill, that $20 gold certificate, you could exchange for a $20 gold piece, a 1-ounce gold coin. And if you look on Google Images, you can find a $50 gold certificate. So that was the currency devaluation that was taking place during that era. Then you'll see here the dollar rallied into about 1929 or 1930, and that was during the crash of the Great Depression, stock market crash. Then you'll see in 33, of course, FDR outlawed the possession of gold, and look at here we are today. The dollar is only worth 5 cents compared to what it was worth back in 1913. So I'm 47 years old. If you are in my age bracket, you remember the show on TV, Leave It to Beaver, where the dad, Hugh, I think his name was, went to work, and the mom, Beverly, I think her name was, stayed at home. At that time, we still had somewhat of a monetary discipline in place. Prices did not really get out of hand until Nixon closed the gold window. And now, as you know, it takes a 2-income household in order to pay the bills and get by. And it's because our currency, our monetary system, they're just inflating it, or they're devaluing the currency. I know you remember the example that I gave you of my grandmother, who's now 93 years old. In the year 2000, a barrel of oil was less than $15. A gallon of gasoline was less than $1. Fast forward 13 years later, now the oil is over $100 a barrel and gasoline is $3.50. That's a perfect example of how our monetary system, or how our currency is being destroyed. It's the law of supply and demand. When you create a bunch of new currency, you're devaluing all the currency that's already in existence. So really what they're doing is they're stealing our labor from us, and it's because we gave our labor in exchange for the money that we earn daily. Alright, let's move on here. Here is a $1 bill from the country of Zimbabwe. Notice the year that it was printed was 2007. Here is a $10 trillion bill from the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. Okay? Here is a $100 trillion bill from the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. Now look down at the bottom right here. This $100 trillion bill was printed in the year 2008, and the $1 bill was printed in 2007. That means one thing: hyperinflation. The people lost confidence in the money overnight, and the central bank just started printing it out of thin air, literally printing it out of thin air. And it's because there is the currencies, since Nixon severed the gold, closed the gold window, all of the currencies across the globe have been quote unquote freely floating currencies. And so there's no monetary discipline in place. There's no tether to the amount of money that can be created out of thin air. Moving along here, you'll see here on Zero Hedge website stunning images from China. 10,000 people waiting in line to buy gold. So the Chinese know, the people inherently know that gold is money, and with these recent price declines, they are lining up to buy gold as fast as they can get their hands on it. The refiners in Europe are running 5 weeks behind. There's such a huge demand for it. They cannot keep up. In France bans the mailing of gold and silver. So as you know, France is another one of the countries in Europe that is in big trouble, and the precious metals have become in high demand over there. And you'll see right here in the first paragraph, France's government has banned sending currency by mail, including coins, cash, and all forms of precious metals. So the stampede is beginning. I'm telling you, in the year 2011, gold got up to $1,900 an ounce. Silver got up to $49 an ounce. Here we sit today, gold's around $12.50. Silver is $19. They are screaming buys. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. Right here, this goes back to the year 2007. Year over year percentage change oscillator gold bullion. And you can see down here in the bottom right corner, we're in June, July 2013. We've got a major buy signal here. I'm telling you, gold and silver are about to take off. This money cannot be created out of thin air like our paper money that we have now. It comes through man's toil, man's discipline of getting up and going to the mine every day and working with machines in order to get it out of the ground. I don't know. Years ago, I had gotten bogged down in whether or not it was going to be inflation or deflation. And to be honest with you, I don't know which one is it going to be. Is it going to be a massive banking collapse where everything crashes? I don't know. Is it going to be a massive currency collapse where the cost of milk and bread and butter and eggs goes through the roof? I don't know that either. But the one thing that I believe, gold and silver in either environment are going up. So to wrap up here, I know I've been a little bit long-winded today. All I'm trying to do is create value in your life, help you create that moat, that water of protection around your castle. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, 770-271-1074. As you know, I'm not a financial advisor. I've gotten out of this system as much as possible. I'm trying to sidestep the train wreck. If you would like to do the same, feel free to give me a call. 770-271-1074. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.